This is Talkin Hoopz, the show that discusses real NBA stories, gives you all the latest rumors, and gets you into heated debates.
It's dunks and layups. How many of his points have been jump shots? 0.
Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5.
0.
It's not happening. Not in this NBA. Maybe in the fantasy NBA that they're playing in, but not in this NBA.
We're going to challenge each other in practice.
We're talking about practice, not a game.
Once the game starts, it's going to be easy.
You better get off whatever you're smoking.
Strap in, get your popcorn, put your headphones on.
This is Talkin Hoopz.
It's really good to checking out Talkin Hoopz.
Talkin Hoopz.
Talkin Hoopz, the official talk show of NBRPA Miami.
Talkin Hoopz starts right now.
Talkin Hoopz. TalkinHoops.com. AJ, Kyle, former NBA player Mark Strickland hanging with you for the show. NBRPA Miami, NBRPAMiami.com. Check them out. A lot of good stuff happening around the league. A lot of big stuff. We spoke with Mario Chalmers earlier today. We have that exclusive interview for you guys. Washington Wizards, Kevin Garnett, Meta World Peace, and much, much more. But getting right into the show, guys, how's it going? How's everybody doing?
Good, man.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad everybody's having a good time. That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, actually, while we get right into this, on the line with us now is the play-by-play man for the Washington Wizards, Mr. Dave Johnson. Dave, what's going on, man?
Hey, this is actually like a playoff series for us in some strange way. We're playing the Pistons tonight, and we actually open up right back in this building next Wednesday. So we're going to get to see the Detroit Pistons in a span of a week twice. But this is like all teams, I think, at this point. You want to get out of the preseason healthy. We've been all over the place. We were in Brazil. We were in Lexington, Kentucky. We're in Detroit tonight. We're in Cincinnati tomorrow. I'm ready to get this thing started. But, there's still some work to do for all these teams, these final 2 preseason games for most.
How do you like the play so far of John Wall and Bradley Beal this season?
That's the story. That's giving us some encouragement, and it's really the foundation for the future. Both players have taken their games to, I hate to use a cliche, a different level. But look, John Wall, we said from the time he came to the league, if he can develop a consistent mid-range jump shot, suddenly he's going to be becoming an even more difficult player to guard, and we've seen that happen. The confidence there, the ability to knock down that jump shot is there. Bradley Beal's mission statement in the offseason was to work on getting to the foul line more, working on doing things more off the bounce. And so he's not just a one-trick pony anymore. He's not just a catch-and-shoot player. And that's why I know it's only preseason, but you're seeing 30-point games and 29-point games and 25-point games. And what needs to be pointed out, as he's racking up those points, he's doing that with preseason minutes. So it's not that he's getting that kind of production playing 4 quarters and overtime. It's happening in a number of ways, and that's why he's getting more points. But he's just developed his game in total, and I think we're looking at a future All-Star.
Now, John Wall, Bradley Beal, obviously a lot of young talent, but Otto Porter is the other new guy on the team. What have you seen from him, and what are the Wizards sort of expecting? Is he going to be thrusted into a starting role?
Well, the thing about Otto Porter is you have to play and/or practice in preseason because of a hip flexor. But I think the good thing about the Wizards situation versus a year ago. A year ago, keep in mind John Wall wasn't playing because of a knee injury. So there's in the case of Bradley Beal, because of the Wizards injury situation with John Wall, et cetera, a lot of pressure was put on him right away to, all right, welcome to the NBA, Bradley. Now, come on, let's do something. The same pressure is not there for Otto Porter, and unfortunately, he's not physically able to deliver it anyway. So I think he's going to be more of a player that's going to have to take some time to develop. But again, the foundation of this team since Randy Whitman took over is defense, and he's a good defensive player. The stat gets sometimes lost last year. The Wizards, it was a terrible start. The Wizards were 4-28, but this is a team that finished 8th in defense last year in the NBA. But that wasn't just about the late surge to the season. Even if you look at that period of time when the Wizards were missing all the players, missing John Wall, were 4-28, they were still a top 10, top 15 defensive team. The problem was, oh, by the way, the NBA got to find points, and they just couldn't find points. So I think Otto Porter fits into this team, but it's going to be, again, he's not yet to play or practice. So in this preseason because of the hip flexor injury, so it's going to be a slow unveiling for Otto Porter.
Do you think this team could be a legitimate playoff team this year? You talk about defense, you talk about John Wall scoring more points. Do you think they can be a legitimate playoff team this year?
I mean, I think can be is the key word, but I mean, all of you guys know the situation. We still don't have what you would call a dominant front court or it's a situation where can we be? Yes. Can we be in the mix? Yes. If you look at the evidence based on the second half of last year when they finished, 26-24, 24-26, whatever it was, those final games, that's a playoff record. That's an 8 seed or 7 seed type of situation. I think this year it's reasonable to expect that they could be there again in a situation where if you're not missing 3 starters like the Wizards were last year during that 4-28 period, if you get some good luck defined as reasonable health, this is a team that's capable of breaking through for the playoffs. I mean, as you all know, you can't stay in that purgatory forever, and that's where we've kind of been these last few years. But it's also been, a rebuild that really started with John Wall in 2010. So it's the 4th year with John Wall, but in some ways the rebuild really did not start till after his rookie season when that was, when finally, for lack of a better term, clearance of other players was complete and it was a fresh start. So, the time, the maturation is there. Now it's about getting results. But whenever I'm asked about predictions, I've been doing this long enough that you expect anything, and obviously injuries is one thing that scares the heck out of you.
Well, I like a lot of the pieces the Wizards added. I like bringing back Martell Webster, the Al Harrington addition. That was also a really nice move by the team. There is pressure. The owner came out, said the team should be a playoff team this season. I think if Nene could stay healthy, that could definitely factor into all that as well. He's always had injury problems throughout his career. But, I mean, the Wizards look good. I'm a big John Wall fan. I think this is his year. So I have hopes the Wizards will make that playoffs either in that 8th, 7th, or 6th spot. That's yet to be determined. But I think the owner's right. I think this is a playoff team.
Yeah, no, and I think, look, we're also in an NBA era where it's a guard-dominated league, or the golden age of point guards, or whatever anybody's talking about. It's a league, it's a style of play now where you can, go with the small ball and the smaller lineups. And, we've got the kind of stretched players to do that, whether you're talking Trevor Ariza or you're talking to a healthy Al Harrington. That's probably the other, if you're talking about the takeaways, and I'm going to have to leave you with this, guys, because we're getting ready for a game here in Detroit against the Pistons. But if you're looking for to me, the takeaways from this preseason so far, it's that, this John Wall, Bradley Beal backcourt is going to become an elite backcourt in the NBA. And the other takeaway short term is that Al Harrington is okay after only playing 10 games last year. And there's every indication that, he's going to help this team in so many ways, not only on the court, but it's still a relatively young core. He is one that has talked openly about wanting to mentor players, and you need that in the locker room. And Mark can speak to that about, how do you quantify a player who gets respect and listens and is able to deliver the message to other players. That's something that's so valuable. So the pieces are there. I mean, it's a lot more optimistic than last year at this time when we're thinking, all right, how are we going to piece this together? And we found out in a rude awakening. But now I think the key is if we get out of the gate with a reasonable start, and we'll be in good shape.
Definitely. Dave Johnson, thank you so much for joining us. I know you got to get to your, pre-game stuff. The Wizards are playing tonight, but we appreciate you stopping by, checking in with us, and giving us your take on the Wizards for this season. Really appreciate it.
Look forward to talking to you again, guys.
For sure. Enjoy the game. All right. Guys, Wizards look good this season. In my opinion, will they be a championship contender? No, but hey, I think there's a lot of good things happening with that roster. They're definitely going in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, I think Detroit, Cleveland, and Washington will compete for those final 3 playoff spots in the East. You can maybe throw Atlanta in there. I think what he brought up was interesting. And Mark, I want to ask you, if there's a young player, now look, John Wall's only 3 years into his career.
Yeah.
How do players react if you got a young guy 2, 3, 4 years in being that vocal leader or trying to be that vocal leader, and you got other guys on the team that are 8, 9, 10, 12 years in, you know, listening to the 3 or 4? How do you respond to that?
I think the veteran guys understand that it's a young league. John Wall is the face of the franchise, so it's easier, and he puts up good numbers. I think he's a hard worker, which we've seen. He's getting better and better each year, which we just heard. He's worked on his mid-range game. When you see a young guy like that working and trying to get better, and I'm pretty sure he's coming to those veteran guys, asking them questions, how to handle certain things. I think you can always look up to a guy like that, especially when he's putting in the work and he's doing it on the court night in and night out. You know, the problem comes when you have a guy that's kind of like the franchise and he's not doing that. He's not working hard and he's not showing that, you know, he could be that leader, you know, not only vocal, but, you know, just by showing by what he does on the court. So I never had a problem with it. It's always been, you know, it's a new generation. I pretty much played. I kind of split, but, you know, I think Washington has a good chance to be a good team. Like the guys say, they need a few more pieces. I think that they'll make the playoffs. It'll be maybe like 8th or 7th spot, but they got a chance to do something special there with a couple of more pieces.
See, the way I see it with the Wizards, guys, is we always talk about injuries being so critical and a team being healthy. And in this situation for the Wizards, their talent needs to be healthy. I don't think they have enough in the tank without that to do anything. But if John Wall really does have a big season this year, like a lot of people are expecting him to, I do think that alone gives you a chance to win a game every single night. When you have a player like that on your team, anything's possible. And I know we talk about the Carmelos, the LeBrons, the Dwayne Wades, guys like that, hey, any given night they can go off and you could just beat a really good team. John Wall may be a guy like that now where that could happen. So, yeah, injuries are important, but you got to think the future for this team is very, very bright, for sure. Either way, for sure.
And he mentioned it also, Dave did, the health. That's what's going to be big, because Wall missed a bunch of games last year. Nene is always dealing with injuries. You got Okafor who's dealt with injuries in his career. Beal went down with an injury late in the season last year. So you look at it as a whole, not a lot of guys were healthy who are the main cast. So obviously health plays into a factor with every team, but this team in particular.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's like a new season for him. Yeah, it's like a new season.
Yeah. Mark, you also can relate to all that stuff that he was talking about, being just a leader in the locker room, getting guys like Al Harrington. I mean, this is stuff you need on a team, and a team that's going in the right direction, you need guys like that.
Yeah, you got to have a vocal person in the locker room. You always got to have that veteran who you can go to kind of like help you. You know, being in the NBA it's a stressful job. I mean, I know everybody don't look at it that way, but it's a lot of stress to go out and produce every night in and night out. And when you have somebody in the locker room that you can go to who can help you kind of like and guide you through that, it's always good for a team.
Definitely.
You know, I think that's really interesting that you say that. People don't really realize what we just watch. You know, we watch you in particular, and also you in general for the basketball players. We don't think that. You know, a guy misses a shot, and we're like, "Yo, this guy sucks."
Right.
You know, we don't really realize everything that goes into it. When guys are pressing and things aren't falling for them. But Washington, here's the one thing about making the playoffs if you're Washington or Cleveland. Who wants that 8 seed? You know, who wants to play the Heat in the first round?
Right.
May as well just miss the playoffs and get the lottery ball.
Especially this season. You know, this is supposed to be a good draft next summer. It's supposed to be a really good draft next summer.
Yeah, you don't want that 8 seed. That 8 seed is like death trap.
Yeah.
Totally.
Death certificate, might well sign your sweep out. Sweep.
That's. I mean, look, Milwaukee had a good team last year. They were the 8 seed, and they couldn't touch the Heat. And
Yeah.
it's going to be the same thing this year for whoever's in that 8th seed. And even if you're the 7th seed, you're probably going to have to pay the Pacers or the Knicks.
Yeah,
or the
that's
Bulls.
tough.
For
That's
sure.
tough.
For sure.
6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8 is gonna be tough. Yeah,
All right.
6, 7, 8 is gonna be tough. Yeah.
Well, while we were talking about playing the Heat, we got a great chance today to speak with Mario Chalmers. It was a great exclusive interview we had with him, and I'm just going to get to that right now. But he said a lot of great things, so we're going to go to that. So hang tight for one.
Super Mario.
Super Mario.
Mario Chalmers, that was a great interview. And we're gonna once we get into the interview, I think what he said about if you listen toward the end of the tape, the nicknames when the Miami Heat get to wear their nicknames on the back, or supposedly, let's just say it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You're tuned in to an exclusive Talkin Hoops interview with AJ Kyle, former NBA player Mark Strickland, and current starting point guard for the Miami Heat, Mario Chalmers. Mario, what's going on, man?
Not much. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. So, how's preseason going? What have you been up to, man?
Preseason's going pretty good. Getting everybody back together. Finally putting the final pieces of our team together. And, get ready to go defend our title.
Hey, Mario, how is the team looking? You got some new pieces. You guys lose Mike Miller, but you bring in Roger Mason, Greg Oden, all these new pieces. You still got a lot of work to do with chemistry-wise, or how's that going?
Everything's going good. Right now, it's good that they're in preseason, so they're getting a lot of good work in right now. And just trying to find out the best ways they can fit in and help the team.
And you're staying away from crab dip, right? No crab dip for Mario Chalmers, right?
Yeah, definitely staying away from the crab dip.
So you're going into a final year here of your contract. Do you approach this year differently at all? Are you going to be more aggressive? Have is there any more pressure on you? How are you approaching the season?
With that being said, I'm not trying to apply too much pressure to myself. Just let my game speak for itself. Do all the little things to help the team, and just be the best player I could be.
Oh. Mario, this Strick.
What's up, Strick?
What's up, man? I wanted to ask you, man, since this year you guys are trying to do the three-peat, I wanted to know, is there any teams in the East that you guys have circled on your calendar? Everybody's talking about Brooklyn, everybody's talking about the Knicks. I just wanted to know, is there any team that you guys, I know there's been some chirping between LeBron and Paul Pierce and that type of thing. Is there any team that you guys are like focusing on and be like, okay, we wait for this night to come so we can answer these questions and let them know we for real again this year?
It's not a specific team. Everybody's gonna give us their best shot every night. And, in order for us to get back to the championship, we gotta go through Indiana and Chicago, of course. So those are probably the two teams that we got in our mind that's gonna give us a little bit of competition.
So. Mario, how are you liking the new additions to your team this year, particularly Michael Beasley and Greg Oden?
Definitely good to have Bees back. Me and him came into the league together. That's still one of my closest friends since we came into the league. So it's always good to have him back on the team. With Greg, I've known Greg since high school. Kind of like the same thing with him. So it's good to have familiar faces on the team, people that can fit in and help us right away.
Oh, that's good, man. What is it like playing with LeBron? He's one of the best, or if not the best player playing in the game right now. Do you find yourself watching him sometime? Do you pick up little things from him? I just wanted to know that. What type of leader is he? Is he more vocal in the locker room, or is he one of those guys that just lead by example?
No, he's a very vocal guy. He's one of the most vocal people we have on the team. Okay. He comes to work every day to work hard, and he also leads by example. So he doesn't just talk about it, he also does it and shows it on the court. And that's what being a leader is all about. And I'm not amazed about the stuff he does anymore. I've been with him 4 years now, so I've pretty much seen almost everything he can do. It's just a good thing that he keeps getting better every year. That's the main thing about it.
Okay.
Mario, do you ever think about your future in terms of how you like to be remembered legacy-wise? I know it's really early on in your career, but you've had so much success, not only on the college level, but on the pro level as well. And you find yourself playing now with, 3 possible future Hall of Famers in Bosh, LeBron, and Wade. How do you want to go out? How do you want to be remembered? You ever think about that?
I think about that. I always want to be remembered as a winner. Somebody that left everything out on the court, wore his heart on his sleeve, and came to work every day. And that's why I strive to have my legacy beat.
Okay. Now, looking around the league, competition-wise, from a point guard standpoint, who, in your opinion, is the best overall guard? There's a lot of conversations for the point guard about Chris Paul, Rondo. Who's the best that you've ever gone against, do you think?
It's kind of hard to say that because each guard has something different to their game. Like with Chris Paul, he handles the ball so much, he runs his team. The guy that he can score 30 or he can get 30 assists. So it's somebody you always got to be aware of. Of course, Derrick Rose with his speed and athleticism. So I'd say those are the 2 right now. That's the people talk about the most.
Now, Mario, getting back to your team, you lost Mike Miller this offseason, signed with the Memphis Grizzlies. Does this mean you're going to have to step up a little more? The whole team together? Is James Jones going to play a little bit more? Who's going to kind of fill that void?
That's the thing about it. We got so many pieces that didn't play last year. Rashad Lewis, James Jones. So we got people that can step up and fill in for Mike, which is going to be a tough task to do. But, if everybody pulls their collective weight, then, we shouldn't miss them that much.
Repeat the word three-peat. How often does that come up in the locker room, or do you guys not even talk about that?
Nah, we don't even talk about that. That's something that nobody needs to speak about. We know what it is. We know what we want to do. Now it's just not talking about it. Go out there and doing it.
That's hard to not talk about because when I play NBA 2K and I win championships, I'm talking to myself about, I want to get this back-to-back championship, but that's just a video game. I want to spread it to the world. So that must be really hard, and especially with all the distractions. If you're not getting three-peat, questions or three-peat hype, then somebody's trying to go after you. There's always haters going after the Heat. They're like an easy target because of everything that's gone on. So you guys have been through like a lot, especially the guys that have been there for a long time. You and LeBron and Wade and Bob. You guys have grown together in a lot. So I guess the chemistry there probably couldn't be better than where it is at right now, right?
Yeah, definitely. Our chemistry is at an all-time high right now. When we had people come in, came with the camp in the best shape they've been in, and we had this preseason to get reacquainted with each other and figure out each other's game again, see what everybody brought new to the table, and that's what we did.
Mario, speaking of NBA 2K, I don't know if you've played. I kind of wanted to know if you were happy with your rating in that game. Because Kyle and I do a lot of fantasy drafts, and even though Kyle thinks he's better than I am, but that's a different conversation. But I wanted to know, what did you think of your rating, and do you like playing as yourself in 2K?
I definitely like playing the game, but I'm not too much worried about my rating. Anytime you can change your rating in the game, so I really don't care too much about the rating.
All right.
So, before I know you guys got a plane to catch. You're headed out, I think, to New Orleans. Halloween's coming up. What's the Halloween costume for you, man?
I was just thinking about that. I think I was going to go with Clarence from Semi-Pro. Andre 3000. That's what I was thinking about.
Like an afro or something?
Yeah, the afro, the high shorts, with all the wristbands and headbands.
Nice.
Well, you know what? Speaking of the high shorts, LeBron said that he might bring the short shorts back for one game. Is that going to be... Have you discussed that? Would you wear the short shorts that they used to wear in the 70s for a game?
Nah, he's going to have to do that one on his own.
Rio, what's your name? I know one night you guys are gonna have nicknames. What's the nickname you're gonna go with?
Probably Rio, since they won't let me get Super Mario.
Oh man,
They gonna let you put the Super Mario? Oh,
nah, they got that copyrighted with the video game and everything. So I'm gonna ask the company again if I can at least try to switch it up a little bit, see what they say. But if not, I'll probably go with Rio.
I like that as a Halloween costume for you, man. Super Mario, maybe get Norris Cole to be Luigi or something. That'd be tight.
I did Super Mario for the Harlem Shake video, so I got.
That's right. Okay, all right, got to change it up then.
Yeah, it would have been so perfect because he's the Heat, and Mario gets that firepower. When he gets the flower, he gets that fireball power. It all shines
that's
so
what we did with
perfectly.
the Harlem Shake.
Nice. All right, Mario, thank you so much for joining us on Talkin Hoops. We really appreciate it. Hopefully you can check back in with us later on in the season, man.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, no
Thanks,
problem.
Mario. Stay up, man.
All right. Yes, sir.
All right, guys. That was a lot of fun talking to Mario. We had a good time with him. He's a great guy. He really is.
Yo, not Super Mario on the back of his jersey. That's criminal.
Yeah, oh man. They gotta let him have the Super Mario just for one night.
He's got
It's only one night, and it's
pumping the game too.
publicity.
He's got to talk to Nintendo about that.
Yeah, man.
That's going to be
Nintendo's got to talk to him about that. You don't got to talk to Nintendo. That's nonsense.
You know, when he had said, we asked him about Michael Beasley, I totally forgot, for a second. Those guys came into the league together. So I think it always is better when you play with your friends. Sometimes it could be a negative thing, depending on what's going on. But he seemed to be really excited to get his best friend back on his team with him, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it'll be a better go around this time for Beasley. I think he's more focused. I talked to a couple of people that's been to the Heat training camp. He looks good. He's healthy. He seems more focused. I think they're going to have somebody with him that's kind of mentoring him to kind of keep him in line a little bit just in case. But so far, so good, man. He seems focused, and he's ready to be a part of a team that's already special.
Yeah.
He's going to fight for minutes, though. I mean, he's on the team. And he has the talent to play, but there's a lot of guys on that roster that didn't even get a chance. Mario said it on when he joined us. There's a lot of guys that didn't even play last year. I mean, they lose Mike Miller, but how many? James Jones doesn't play. Rashard Lewis hardly played, and now you got Rashard Lewis who plays power forward. You got Bosch who plays power forward and center. They're gonna be ahead of Beasley on the roster just because they've been there, and then Bosch obviously is Bosch. So he's going to be fighting. So not only is he going to have to make sure that his off-the-court issues are all solved, but he's going to have to work extra hard if he wants to see any minutes on the Miami team.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I like the James Jones. He brought up James Jones and Rashard Lewis. Those are key pieces that didn't really play that much last season. So, that was cool.
There's a lot of pieces. You think about the Heat, and it's always LeBron, Wade, and Bosh because they're always playing.
Right.
But there's so many other people on that roster that hardly even get a chance to play that on any other NBA roster they'd be playing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
They definitely have depth this year. Yeah. They definitely have some depth. Yeah.
But even asking him, the Lakers had Shaq, Kobe, and it's like Derek Fisher. But when you think of the championships, Derek Fisher's not the first guy that pops in your head, obviously. It's Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal when the Lakers won
Robert Horry.
Right, and Robert Horry hitting his big shot, though. Well, if you look at the Miami Heat, the first thing you think of is LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. But no one realizes that without the other guys on their team, they wouldn't have been in that situation. Mario stepped up and did what he had to do. Mike Miller stepped up and did what he had to do. Shane Battier came in and did what he had to do. There was a lot more than just those three guys. Yeah, would they have won without them? Without LeBron? No, they wouldn't have won without LeBron, obviously. But LeBron may not have won without them. And that's why Mario Chalmers, when we asked him, how do you want to remember yourself? And, that's how he wants to remember himself, as a winner. Like Derek Fisher as a winner, a guy that made some great contributions to a great, really great team that won a championship. And he's on that path to be that Derek Fisher type of player, I think, for the Miami Heat.
Yeah, you can't win championships, man, without facilitators and role players. You have to have them.
Yeah, and you know better than anyone, Strick, being a role player
That's what
yourself.
I was a role player.
That's right.
Player, stay in your house, rebound, hit easy baskets, bring high energy to the game. That's your job. You do your job, and everybody else do their job in some kind of way, man. You come out with W's.
Definitely.
Yep.
Definitely. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll pick up some more Miami Heat conversation, and we'll talk a little bit about Kevin Garnett and a couple of other things. So stick with us. Talkin Hoops, talkinhoops.com. We will be right back. NBRPA Miami chapter, NBRPAMiami.com.
Sanchez with a message for women. This is the actual sound of my heartbeat. I'm sharing my heart to let you know that the symptoms of women's heart attacks can be different from men's. Please learn more. All it takes is a few minutes of your time in return for years of healthy life. That's a deal even my agent couldn't negotiate. Cover your heart. Learn more. CVS Cares.
The new free CBS Radio app streams your favorite CBS radio stations, as well as all your favorite AOL and Yahoo Music stations directly to your iPhone, iPod Touch, and BlackBerry Bold. With 30 genres of professionally programmed stations at your fingertips, you can hear whatever you want, whenever you want. Stations like K-Rock, 1010 Wins, WFAN, AMP, and over 600 others. Now you can easily take your favorite stations with you on the go. The CBS Radio app is everything you wanted from streaming radio and a whole lot more. Go to cbsradio.com/mobile to download your app today.
This is AJ, and you're checking out Talkin Hoops, where you can hear the true legends of basketball. If you missed any of the action from today's show, you can find the full episode on TalkinHoops.com or YouTube.com/TalkinHoops. And don't forget to follow @TalkinHoops on Twitter and give us a like on Facebook for all the latest around the league.
Sassy! Sassy!
This week's episode, Bobcat in the Cave.
Gosh, Johnny, playing in the cave sure is neat. Oh boy, a kitty cat. Sassy, the kitty cat's yelling. What, Sassy? It's not a kitty, it's a bobcat? Speaking of cats, you'd like to stress the importance of adopting cats from animal shelters? Over 5 million cats go into animal shelters every year? And with millions of healthy cats to choose from, it's a shame more people don't adopt from shelters? This bobcat's heavy. Help, Sassy! Why bother? We'll just get into more trouble tomorrow? What's that supposed to mean? Oh, nuts!
Sassy is brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org. Remember, adopt.
My dream is to become a mechanical engineer.
My dream is to be a ballerina. My dream is to be a veterinarian.
I want to be a chef, truck driver,
A teacher.
A shoe designer.
Professional skateboarder.
But right now,
I'm just a kid.
just a kid.
I'm just a kid. I'm just a kid ready to be adopted.
Ready to be adopted.
I'm just a kid ready to be adopted. For the facts about adopting a child from foster care, contact the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption.
Hey guys, this is AJ. Want to talk more hoops? Bring the show in overtime. Check out TalkinHoops.com. Catch ya on the rebound.
Welcome back to Talkin Hoops. About 15 players in the team. 14 get along. Now here's a guy who likes to dunk on his 8.5-foot ring. Take it away, AJ.
And we are back, Talkin Hoops, TalkinHoops.com. AJ, Kyle, Mark Strickland hanging with you for the show. As always, had a lot of good stuff. That was Mario Chalmers before the break. Great interview with him. A lot of great stuff he talked about. But getting back into our conversation.
And if anybody missed the interview, if you're just tuning in and you missed the interview, it'll be up on the website tonight. Make sure you check it out.
Yeah, check it out, TalkinHoops.com. It'll be up there. And, all right, shifting focus to the Nets. Kevin Garnett. A lot of stuff going on with him. Kyle, why don't you start with it?
You got KG and Paul Pierce and the Nets, and they're just trying to make headlines anywhere they can. I think it's a distraction. They're trading barbs with the Knicks. They're trading barbs with the Heat. To me, it's just all circus. All right, just play the game. You're 38 years old. Pierce, I think, is 36 years old. Just play the game, man. You know, Paul Pierce gave LeBron a body check, I guess, to send a message. Or you're not sending LeBron a message. You can't. At your stage in your career and where the Nets are, there's no message to be sent to LeBron. He's got 2 rings. They're the favorites to win it again. If bullying is your only tactic, then you've drastically fallen off the map.
Yeah.
You know, if that's what you have to resort to is body bumping LeBron in a preseason game, you know, a hard foul in a preseason game, to me that's just sad. All right, play basketball. Yeah. If you can't beat him straight up, then that's just what it is.
Mark,
and it just seems like they're making more news and headlines than they are on the court. And Darren Williams hasn't even stepped on the court. So why don't you focus on who's going to be your point guard and how this is all going to come together than saying that the Knicks don't run New York and LeBron James this and that.
Right. No, I agree, but Mark, when you're in these situations, when you played, and guys were hitting, guys took hits, you played in a real physical series against the Knicks all the time in those days. How was the reaction? Did guys take it personal? What was the beef like? Because it's obviously much different now than back then. But what do you think?
I think it was different back then. Back then, the Knicks were a legitimate team. They beat us a couple of years. We only beat them 1 year out of the 4 years. So, it's a little different. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets are like rebuilding. Like Kyle said, Paul Pierce, I haven't seen him play like he used to play in a while. He looked bad in the preseason. He looked bad last year. He's starting to look old. He's becoming a step slower. I mean, KG's going to be KG because he can hit an outside jumper. As long as he's hitting outside jumpers, he's going to be effective. But, you're still not ready to beat the Knicks, and you're still not ready to really compete with the Miami Heat yet. I mean, come on. I mean, all they're doing is just setting themselves up for, a team that's already a legit contender and a team that can be a contender in the Knicks to come out and play that A game against them just to shut them up.
Right.
And that's not what they need. Carmelo, spanked them last year by themselves. I know they have different pieces, but, KG and an old Paul Pierce cannot beat these guys, these teams by themselves. I mean, Carmelo Anthony's still young. LeBron is still young. I mean, I'll take D-Wade over Paul Pierce anytime. I mean, he still got a lot more left in the tank. So, right. I mean, I think they just need to sit back, man, play ball, let their game show what they can do, and just build themselves up by their play. I think they'll be respected a little bit more. All of this chitter-chatter is not doing anything but setting themselves up for failure.
They're trying to bring that Boston identity to Brooklyn. They're trying to bring this.
And you can't do it.
No, you can't do it. It's a different set of characters.
Right.
Different team, different coach, different city.
That's right.
I mean, I know New York is tough, and Brooklyn is a place where Biggie Smalls is from, and they got Jay-Z and all these rappers, but,
right.
Talking about basketball, Brooklyn is a new team. They don't even really have an identity, and I know they're trying to do that tough guy image, but, I mean, come on. These guys are older guys. These teams are more focused. I mean, the Heat are focused. I mean, we just talked to Mario Chalmers, and he seemed focused just in the interview.
Right.
Those guys know what they want to accomplish. They're not going out talking about it. They're not even talking about a three-peat in the locker room amongst themselves.
They didn't even put the Nets in that equation as the two teams they're worried about. I mean, Mario just said it's Chicago and Indiana that they're watching out for.
Yeah, he didn't even bring up Brooklyn. So,
right.
All it is just trying to make – I think they're just making themselves – they're setting themselves up.
And KG may not even play every game this season. That was another thing. So, I mean –
I think there's going to be some bickering between them about that. I mean, I think Jason Kidd's going to have his hands full with certain things, man.
Right.
Some of those guys are, he's going to really have to put his foot down, and that's going to be an adjustment. They have a new coach,
right?
A first-year coach at that, who just played last year. So they got a lot of stuff they need to be focusing on rather than chitter-chattering in the media about this and that.
This is going to go really bad really fast if they start off on a slow start, because then you got a rookie head coach where the New York media is going to be all over. This guy shouldn't be here. I don't care who he is. New York is going to eat you up if you're not succeeding. I mean, Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls and 2 Super Bowl MVPs, and there was chat about benching him last week. It's not what have you done, it's what have you done for me now. It's what have you done for me lately. And if Jason Kidd can't get this team to play well, they're going to be calling for his job. Garnett and Pierce, they traded all these assets, all these draft picks, all these young players. Marshawn Brooks isn't there anymore. He was one of their young and upcoming players. He's gone. They did all this just to bring in Terry Pierce and Garnett. Everybody's going to be pointing fingers at them and saying the Nets really screwed up the franchise for trading for all these guys. So they get off to a slow start. It's going to be bad news. It's going to get real ugly real quick.
The pressure's definitely on Brooklyn. And even though people are already ranking them, like, look, we rank Brooklyn 5th. 4th, 5th, and that's not really saying much considering everything that they gave up and all the draft picks they gave up to bring these guys in to win a championship in the next year or two. I mean, they got 2 years to do this, 1 year. Really, 1, in my opinion. These guys are old already. How much more can Garnett take? So, yeah, I agree with Kyle. I think there's a lot of pressure on the Nets right now. And you know what? If they keep running their mouths They just put more pressure on themselves. Garnett's just putting more pressure on the team. So,
I mean, people are talking about him now because, it's new. It's something to talk about because everybody knows Indiana, Chicago, the Heat are going to be the teams, and those are going to be the teams. Everybody knows that. And they're hoping Brooklyn and the Knicks. Brooklyn just need to just focus on what they got to do, get their point guard back, get to the point where they're winning games and they have some chemistry, and then maybe start, doing a little chitter-chatter. But when you haven't done anything and the whole situation is new, you just creating a time bomb.
Right. I think also that a lot of people are counting out our beloved Knicks. We're kind of flying under the radar right now. A lot of people are talking about the Heat, the Brooklyn Nets, the Chicago Bulls with Derrick Rose coming back, the Indiana Pacers continuing what they did and bringing back Danny Granger. But people are forgetting the Knicks are still a really good team. And I think, once again, they're going to come out of nowhere and surprise a lot of people. And Kyle and I talk about that a lot.
I don't know. I do think that the Knicks are going to be good, but in terms of surprising people, I don't think that you can surprise unless they dethrone the Heat.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're going to be surprising anybody.
Well,
people expect them to be a 50-win team. People expect them to compete for the Atlantic crown. People expect them to be a top 3 or 4 seed. There's not a lot of surprises going on there.
I think what I mean is because the league is so balanced this season. Everyone's really hovering around that same area. Certain teams in the East that go to any which team right now, in my opinion. If the Knicks finish in second, if the Pacers finish in second, even if Mark's beloved Heat finish in second, I feel like we're all the East teams are kind of up together in that same area. They're all kind of floating around that same amount of wins for the season. And I just think there's so much hype because the Knicks didn't do too much this offseason. Like, they didn't gut pretty much their roster like Brooklyn, where they just made all these changes and brought in 2 guys. Derrick Rose is a big story coming back for Chicago. Indiana, they got Danny Granger coming back. And people look at the Knicks like, well, you brought in Andrea Bargnani. But they don't realize all the other things that happened. They got much younger. They got more efficient. They got a good backup point guard in Bino Udrih. I just think a lot of people are going to be surprised when the Knicks do finish second and not like fourth or in front of other teams.
Yeah, I want to see them win in the playoffs. I want to see them get to the conference.
You
finals.
Just want to see it.
That's the only way I think it's going to be a successful season for the Knicks if they get to the conference finals. That's what they have to do.
Right.
I think it's championship or bust. It's been too long for the Knicks be in New York and not have won a championship. Carmelo Anthony is here. He's a max guy. Amari Stoudemire, I know he can't play, but he's a max guy. You got 2 max contracts on the books. You got an all-defensive first team and a defender of the year from 2 years ago in Tyson Chandler. You bring in Metta World Peace. You have the 6th man of the year. Think about it. You had the leading scorer in Melo and the 6th man of the year in J.R. Smith on the team last season. You have Tyson Chandler, who's defensive player of the year. You got all these pieces.
Right.
You got to go for a championship. If they don't win a championship, it's got to be looked at as a failure, especially when Carmelo Anthony says, I want to experience free agency.
That's huge. I still can't believe he said that. I'm kind of surprised that came out of his mouth this early on. And even though the rest of the report was, I'm not going anywhere. I've just never experienced free agency before in my life, which is true. He's never experienced free agency. He's only signed contracts and been traded. So he's never actually experienced going. It
sets a negative tone.
Right.
Yeah, especially from your leader. That's just like LeBron coming out saying, okay, next year, I'm not coming back to the Heat. What if he comes out and says that tomorrow? I'm not coming back. I'm going to try to be a free agent. It's time for me to move somewhere else. It just sets a negative tone. When one of your key guys is talking about, okay, whether he leaves or not. If you're not leaving, why put that out there?
That's right.
The season. If you're not leaving, why say that?
Right.
Why just wait to the end of the season? Handle it that way. Don't handle it at the beginning of the season and already saying, I'm out.
And Mark, you know this from playing on the Heat and being in Madison Square Garden as an opposer. Knicks fans are very harsh, and we know our basketball. New York fans know their basketball. And when the Knicks struggle this year, and they'll hit a rough patch, The headlines in the newspapers are going to be bye-bye Melo. See you later, Melo. They're going to be calling for Melo. Hey, you want to leave? Go ahead and leave because we're not doing any good with you here.
Right.
The Knicks fans are going to start. As soon as this team struggles, the Knicks fans will let Carmelo know that he's not welcome. Right. They will boo him till the cows come home. And that's just how Knicks fans are. Right. When you're good, they love you. When you're bad, get out of town. So you don't want to add ammo. You don't want to add wood to that fire. Why enrage the fans? We know all the assets that were given up for Melo to come here.
Right.
No championship has come from it. At least Amari, see, he doesn't play, and he's hurt. And Knicks fans are frustrated because it takes up a lot of money, and you can't do anything because he's signed.
Right. But there's a level of respect for Amari from
he
fans.
wants to play. He's out there. He's trying to get out there. He's trying to play. He's trying to work through the injuries.
Right.
We see that.
Yeah.
And we know that. Basketball fans see that. It's frustrating, but like you said, there's a level of respect. He wants to be here. Yeah. The Knicks are back. Remember that statement that
Amari made
when he signed?
Right.
The Knicks are back. Knicks fans want to hear that from Melo. They want to hear, hey, listen, I'm not going anywhere until I win a championship. I came here to win a championship. That's what Knicks fans want to hear. Right. Look, if you want to experience free agency, go ahead. But don't let it be known 8 months beforehand.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, that's bad. Yeah. It just sets a negative tone, like I said, man. And it just, just something that could have been handled, I think, in a more professional way. I'll just put it like that. You know what I mean? This guy's is probably the face of the franchise. He's getting paid a lot of money to play there, man. They made big moves. The city was buzzing when he got there. This is the place that he said he wanted to play. And now all of a sudden you're saying, okay, I want to experience free agency. And then you're going to come out and say, okay, I just said that and I'm not leaving. So if you're not leaving, don't say it. Hey, New York, we're going to get a championship this year. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's how you handle that. That's how you handle it.
You go back to the pieces that the Knicks gave up for him. They literally gutted that whole team. That team was in the playoffs with Amari. I got news for you. With Amari. That team was in the playoffs. They could have done what they did with Amari, seen how far it went. And Melo, they said he saved like he made $5 million by being traded as opposed to not signing with the team. He made an extra $5 million by getting traded and signing an extension. So it wasn't even worth it for the Knicks to really do that if he was just going to come there anyway the following season.
No, well, here's the thing. It may have only been $5 million or whatever that number is, but the reason Melo wanted to get out of Denver and to New York at that time was because everyone knew the lockout was coming and rules were going to be changing, and he wouldn't have been able to make as much as he would have if that deal went. So if he would have waited and then became a free agent or dealt at the end of the year, after the lockout, the rules would have been changed and money would have been different. He wanted that money before the new rules went into play. He wanted that before the lockout happened.
Well,
that's why the trade was sort of forced, and the Knicks were handcuffed.
Right.
Because you trade for him and you get him, but if you wait, there's no guarantee that you get him. Sure, he wants to come to New York, but there's no guarantee.
Right. No. Well, I think if he does leave the Knicks, then this is another player that just literally just screwed the team completely because of everything they gave up for this guy to bring him to where he wanted to go. He kept holding off for this trade to happen, to go to New York. He wanted to go to New York. Technically, he was traded to the Nets twice and just didn't go. They had two different deals in place, and he turned them both down because he wanted to play in the blue and orange uniform. That's where he wanted to be. Which, by the way, while I'm on the uniform, the Knicks do have an all-orange with some blue letter uniforms coming out this year. They look nice. They look nice. Yeah, I saw them on Twitter. I saw J.R. Smith rocking one of them. They look nice. I was waiting for this to happen. I said this a couple years ago. They should do that.
The orange out?
All orange with some blue. I like it. I'm a fan. But before we get off the Knicks, they did play last night, which was a pretty thrilling double overtime loss, unfortunately, but it was a double overtime game against the Toronto Raptors. And they caught Meta World Peace after the game talking to media, and he was just hilarious. He had a little tiff with Tyler Hansbrough, but he said he likes Tyler Hansbrough, so let's listen into what Meta World Peace said after the game. Very entertaining, though.
There's no message. He's a good player, tough player. It was... if it was back in the days, it probably would have been, more. But it was enough. It was aggressive. He was playing really hard. we had a moment, and we both moved on. It was good. It was good for the game. It was good for the fans. You know, I kind of got the Toronto fans excited. You know, and he stood his ground, and you know he got his fans excited. It was great. No fighting, just face-to-face action. It was good.
It looked like he said, my bad. If you see video of the later, it looked like that was what he turned. Not you, what he said. It looked like he turned around and realized who it was. I mean, you'll probably see it on video. It's pretty funny. But did you hear what he said in response to you? Were you surprised that he?
Nah, he's tough. I like him, man. I like him. I like that guy. That's what I missed when Matt Harpin retired. I had nobody to bang it with. I had nobody to go bull, horn, head to head. I love it. Like, I miss Matt Harpin. Like, please come back. But now we got Tyler, which is even good. It's better. I love guys like that. I need that physical action because, you know, the game has changed so much, and now we got, you know, all these Mr. Softies. You know Mr. Softy in New York? Yeah. You know, a lot of people, you know, they made from the ice cream cone. A lot of basketball players is made right from the Mr. Softy ice cream cone truck.
The song and everything.
Everything.
Now, you were saying before.
You know, I like Mr. Softy, but I don't like to play basketball with Mr. Softy. I just like Mr. Softy, like after a nice hot summer day. You see what I'm saying? I don't think you understand, because they're from Toronto. They don't even understand what's going on right now. Right? You don't understand.
New York thing.
You were saying before, about a week or two ago.
So, Mr. Softy, that seems to be, that's his new thing now. There's all these soft players he's playing with.
That's the Mr. Softy theme song. For those who don't know, Mr. Softy is an ice cream truck.
Yeah.
Okay? Comes around, hot summer nights, like Ron said. And he has that classic theme song, ice cream truck theme song. And apparently, there's a lot of Mr. Softies in the league.
Yeah. But not Tyler Hansbrough. He said he liked Tyler Hansbrough. I don't know. He wasn't really talking directly into the mic, but there was a moment in the game where he approached Tyler after they had banged bodies, and he's looking at Tyler, and Tyler kind of turned around, didn't realize he was looking at him, and then he saw, and he's like, "Oh, my bad. Like, I didn't mean to hit you, my bad." After he realized, like, who it was. And you heard the media guy had asked him that, and our test right there, or Meta World Peace, I should say, he was like, "I didn't say that. That wasn't me who said that." He's like, "No, Tyler said that." He's like, "Oh, I was going to say, I didn't say that." So, I mean, this is hey, he's healthy. Here we go. Here's the music. Go ahead, Kyle. Bring it in, Kyle.
Go ahead. I want to. There's Mr.
Hey, he doesn't like how the league's become. All these softies.
He's right though. The
were you a softie
changed.
when you played? Would you say you were a softie, Mark? Were you a softie?
No, back when I played, man, you come to the lane, man, you could get pushed in the third row. You come, especially playoff time, man. I mean, he's right. The game has changed a lot. It's more, more highlight reels and more, you can't, do this. You can't elbow guys. The flagrant foul is getting called more. They just want to see more offense. I think they put that in there for it could be more offense, more up and down play, more highlights. It's good for the fans. I mean, that's what they pay money to see. They come to see guys, like Bill Russell say, this game will always be about buckets.
Right.
When you got guys, a team like the Detroit Pistons or the Miami Heat teams I played on, or the New York Knicks teams that we played against, those teams are defensive-oriented teams. They're not going to let you. There's a rule. Pat Riley's rule was no layups. No matter what, you're not going to get a layup on us. You're going to have to go to the line and earn those points.
Right.
And it's not like that now. You foul a guy now, man. You foul him hard, you're getting fined $50,000, $30,000. So a guy's going to think about that. I mean, and you got to understand that it's changing because it's a big money. It's about money now. It's about money. The league is about money. You're talking about $1 billion business. They want to keep the seats filled. And how you keep the seats filled, they want to see highlight reels.
Right.
So you can't be as physical as you used to be. I mean, it's understandable, but, the physicality of the game has been taken away somewhat. And just like I like Joakim Noah, that's my guy, still physical. Still physical.
You know, not just that. There's other aspects that are being taken away. Obviously, over the years, new rules are being put into play. The whole emotion, you know, that it took a while for me to get used to. Guys holding in their emotion after plays. That's still kind of hard for me to believe that certain calls get called for it. But this preseason, the new annoying thing is after a guy makes a shot and hits the ball, you can't do that anymore. I think that's ridiculous. I mean, Melo does that like every time, and he's just giving him back to the ref or whoever, and you can't do that. Guys are getting technicals for it. It's ridiculous.
Those little rules are making it. Those little rules are ticky-tack rules, man. I think the game can do a lot.
It's getting to the point where this is really getting ridiculous. How do you get this is going to cost someone a game for tapping the ball back just to give it to the. I mean, I was watching. I think it was the Clippers Portland game. Lua Munson was in the game. Literally, the ball accidentally landed on his hand. He didn't even touch it. It literally accidentally landed on his hand and fell off. He didn't even move his hand or anything. It literally fell on top of him, and they called it. And he got a They shot free throws. I mean, Doc Rivers got up. He was livid. He was just like, this is insane. You know, you hear the fans in the background.
Slows down the game. You got to stop. Shoot a technical foul, or the ref got to go over and be like, delay a game. Like, it slows down the game. Like, just let them play. Unless the guy's holding the ball. You know, just holding the ball and the guy can't take it out. If he hits the ball, it doesn't matter. As long as he's not holding the ball, slowing the other team up from getting the ball out, I don't see why they added that rule. I really don't see why.
It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous.
I'll tell you why they added that rule. It's because the league is a bunch of... That's why they added
bunch of softies. How did I know that was coming from Kyle? White Owl,
man.
Yeah.
I want to drive the Mr. Softy truck that Ron buys ice cream from.
I like
I want to
Haagen-Dazs.
know what his ice cream order is like.
You know, I like Haagen-Dazs. I used to like.
He's like, they don't have Haagen-Dazs on Mr. Softy.
No, they don't.
Have you ever seen a Mr. Softy?
Yeah, I know what it is. I'm sad. I like Haagen-Dazs. I like Haagen-Dazs.
Mr. Softy is the red, white, and blue. The ice cream cone with the nuts on the top. The fudge pop.
Ice cream, and they have some other ones like the screwball, the firecracker. They got like the SpongeBob with the gumball nose.
Right.
When wrestling was cool, they had the wrestling ice creams with the cookie on the front and the chocolate on the back.
And the screwballs were also really good back in the day. I love screwballs.
Yeah.
Nothing beat a screwball back in the
There's
day.
definitely some screwballs in the NBA too.
For sure. We could all agree on that, for sure. All right, we got to start wrapping up the show here. A lot of good stuff. Mario Chalmers, thanks to him for coming on the show. Really appreciated that. That was a lot of fun getting to interview him. Mark, your boy, Chalmers, finally making an appearance here.
Hey, man. I get him. That's what we do.
Another thanks to Dave Johnson, the Wizards play-by-play man. He was great. Great stuff that he brought to the table tonight. Wizards, man. Watch out for the Wizards, guys. They're coming. John Wall, he's coming. NBRPA Miami chapter. NBRPAMiami.com. Can't forget about our partners. But for AJ, for Kyle, for Mark Strickland, for everybody watching the show, we'll catch you guys on the rebound.
Until Talkin Hoops comes back into play, stay connected by getting at us on iTunes. Keep up to date with all the latest basketball news and rumors and check out all our shows by logging on to TalkinHoops.com.
Catch you on the rebound.